In this tutorial, I'll be showing how to add dialogue to a song in Restructure Engine. I'll be showing how to create a new portrait using the portrait editor, how to create dialogue files using the dialogue editor, and how to get them to actually show up in a song. For the sake of this tutorial, I've already created a mod to which we'll be adding our dialogue files, and I've disabled the other mods from the previous tutorials. I'll be adding dialogue to an existing song in the base game. I've already created a few files for this, namely the sprite sheet of the new dialogue portrait I'll be adding, and the sound files for the speech blips that this character will make. So to get started, I'll go ahead and add those files to the mod. So go to mods, dialogue sample. First things first, I'll create a new folder in the data folder called portraits. This is where the portrait JSONs will go. I'll copy that folder, add it to the images folder, and by default Restructure Engine mods don't have a sounds folder, so I'll go ahead and create one. In the sounds folder, I will once again paste the portraits folder. Now in the portraits folder and the sounds folder, I'll create a new folder called Pico. And this folder should be called the same as whatever your JSON file later will be called. So you might not want to do this first, but since I already know what I'm calling all the files, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So in this folder, I'll go ahead and drag all of these sound files back to dialogue example, and in images, portraits, I'll put in the sprite sheet. It's very, very simple sprite sheet. It's just his idle and his singing animations. But now that that's done, log back into the game, open the dialogue portrait editor. Now by default we have boyfriend's portrait here, so we go ahead and click on change asset. And we'll navigate to our mod, images, portraits, Pico. And he shows up. So in order to add our first animation, we'll just click this idle prefix, click idle, set the animation name to idle, and add it. Now, the dialogue system does support talking portraits, or in more specific terms, an animation that plays while the text is still showing, but the default portraits don't use this feature, so I won't be using it here either. But you can select the talk prefix, and that animation will be used as the talking animation. But now that we have our idle, I'm just going to move this portrait around a bit. I'll flip it, make it a little bit smaller, and move it a little bit lower. And I'll also go ahead and add in all the other animations. And like with the characters, I'll do this all at once, and then do offsets later. Now the left and right animations are actually flipped because his sprite is flipped, but I'm not going to worry about that. Now there isn't any animation ghost or anything in this, you're just going to have to use your eye for the offsets. As you can see on screen, you can shift and click to drag animation offsets. So I'm going to turn off the dialog box and try to line up everything with the idle. Move his foot there. Move this one back. And there we go. So once we've done all the animations, we can go ahead and save that. Go to data, portraits, and it's already named Pico. So once you've done that, we can head to the dialogue editor and write some dialogue. So we'll start off on the left and have Pico speak first, and we'll just enter some example dialogue. And we'll go ahead and add a line, flip it to the right side, change the character, change the expression as well. And make him speak. I'll use this one. So once you have some dialogue, you can go ahead and save that. Now normally you want to save your dialogue in the folder with your charts. Since we're modding this into an existing song, we'll just create a new data folder. And we'll make sure to call it the same thing as the data folder of the song we're adding the dialogue to. Now in order to create a new one, we'll close out and open the dialogue again, or the dialogue editor again. And we'll create some more dialogue for the end of the song. And we'll go ahead and save that. It's dialogue, capital E, lowercase nd.txt. So once you have your dialogue, you need the script to actually get it to show up in the game. And you can find the script on the GitHub page for Restructure Engine under the dialogue example. I've already navigated to the right file here. You can get here from the releases page on the mods Game Banana. But if you don't want to do that, also directly link this in the description of the video. But once you're here, go ahead and click on Raw. Right click. Do Save Page As. And these buttons will vary depending on what browser you have. But either way, I'll go to Mods, Dialogue Example, Data, Songs, Week 3, and I'll go ahead and save it in the Week 3 folder. Set Save as Type to All Files and make sure it saves as dialog.hscript. And once it's done, the file is there. Now we'll head into the game. Go into Week 3. And the dialogue works.
3, 2, 1, go!
And we see that the dialogue at the end of the song works as well. Now generally, of course, you don't need to have dialogue at the end of a song unless it's the final song of the week. because you could just put that dialogue at the start of the next song. So that was a brief overview of the dialogue system in Restructure Engine. And the entire dialogue system is actually soft-coded. So if you want to change anything about it, the box, the skip button, anything, you can actually copy the script files, paste them into your mod, call them something else, and call those files instead, using the dialogue script. But if you don't want to do that, you can just use the regular old dialogue script. And this script will detect whether or not there is a dialogue file and a dialogue end file in your song. So you don't have to have both of them, and you don't even have to have either of them in a song if you just want to put this file in your week folder, whatever your song folder is. And of course you can also change that file to do other things if you wanted a video cutscene or something. But I won't go over that in this tutorial. Thank you for watching.